From there, let me pick up the big story. US President Donald Trump has met with the Pakistan's army chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, at the White House. Speaking after the meeting, Trump has said that he was honored to meet Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir and thanked him for not entering the war with India and ending the war, calling both the nations very smart for avoiding conflict. The meeting comes after Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a telephonic conversation with the US President, clearly stating that India was not in fact in talks with the United States regarding any trade deals during the Operation Sindoor, bashing all the claims that the US played any part in the cessation of the fire between India and Pakistan. This was the first meeting between a US president and the head of Pakistan's military that held without accompanying senior civilian officials. Meanwhile, a statement has been issued by the White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly, mentioning that the reason President Trump is meeting with Pakistan's army chief is that the latter has called for a Nobel Prize to be given to the United States President for averting a nuclear war between India and Pakistan last month. Remember, viewers, this statement has just come a day after when yesterday Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump have spoken over on the call for the telephonic conversation that went about for 35 minutes, focusing on India's clear stand on not wanting to mediate and offer mediation to any third country between the negotiations and hostilities, while retaliations with Pakistan. Ajay Jandyal continues to be with me live on the broadcast with more updates. Ajay, now we are just looking at these visuals and the statement, of course, that follows after the meeting of the US President Donald Trump and General Asim Munir. And what it poses as a question is that if this meeting had to be taken place, why did US not clear it out earlier when there were questions if that meeting is on the cards before G7? Ajay. Ajay, if you can hear me correctly.
Yes.
All right. The meeting between Donald Trump and Asif Munir has taken place. It only raises more question, Ajay, as to why exactly the United States not clear its stand and the intentions of meeting with the Pakistan's military chief before the G7 did take place.
See, it seems that Pakistan basically knew that what has happened between India and Pakistan that have totally damaged the image of Pakistan, not only in Pakistan but all over the world as well, because it was a tough time for the Pakistan, the way basically Indian forces have targeted the terror launchpad and other things. So Pakistan was trying to come out of this thing, and that's why this meeting between Pakistani army chief and Donald Trump was shown like that it is to praise Pakistan, but it was hidden, and nothing was shared before G70, and there was no information to anyone that this is going to happen. So it seems that the ongoing situation between Iran and Israel is the only reason that Pakistan was invited by the United States, and even Trump has hosted the lunch for Asim Munir, because Pakistan, US knows that if somebody is important in Pakistan, that is only the Pakistani army and the army chief. That's why they haven't called Pakistani Prime Minister. They only called Asim Munir and hosted a lunch, and it is only just to ensure that if situation worsen between India, Iran and Israel, and if US has to make an entry, then the neighboring country like Pakistan, like Iraq, like Saudi Arabia, that has to be taken into the confidence, and this is only the reason.
All right. Thank you very much, Ajay, for sharing these latest that you are in fact picking up at this point of time, as we are also tracking the developments. Joining me live on the broadcast is Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava. Thank you, sir, for being with us. US President Donald Trump host Asif Munir, and this development did take place when India yesterday, after making in fact the meeting with the seven-nation bloc, a very productive one, has made it clear that India is not welcoming any sort of mediation from the United States as far as the retaliations to the Pakistani hostilities is concerned. How do you look at this taking place right now, and does it also raises question on the duplicity of the United States intention as far as countering the terrorism is concerned?
Well, Simran, it is quite clear, and India has made its position very, very clear, and we have been very consistent that India is not going to be accepting any sort of mediation between India and Pakistan. And all the outstanding issues between India and Pakistan can only and only be resolved bilaterally. There is no scope for any kind of a third-party mediation, and it was never there was never any scope of that sort of mediation. There is no scope for such mediation. There shall never be any such scope for any mediation. This point has been made clear by India in a very, very clear terms. And our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi himself spoke to President Trump and made these points very clear. Secondly, India is also very much determined to take actions against acts of terror, because this new India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, has a zero tolerance policy against terrorism. And that's the best approach to deal with terrorism. That is another point Indian Prime Minister made clear to US President. But having said that, the kind of remarks which we are seeing from US President Donald Trump, and also the kind of meeting he has had with the Pakistani army chief, this shows that United States of America's president, he wants to take some credit for whatever he has done. But as far as the United States of America's if any role was there in de-escalating between India and Pakistan conflict, that was only to provide some support, to create some atmospheric, some kind of facilitation, and that was the only role the United States of America played.
All right, in fact,
India,
Mr. Srivastava, thank you very much for being with us on the broadcast, and now we are moving forward with more updates.